Hey, what's going on, guys? My name's Trent. Welcome back to The Real Guy. And today, guys, I'm bringing you a different type of video. And today I'm going to be talking about the 2019 Philadelphia Eagles. Now, I did some NFL videos in the past. I did my predictions videos, which did pretty well. If you saw my update, I'm not going to be doing like a bunch of NFL videos this year. I decided to do this video as a sort of a commentary on how I feel about the 2019 Eagles, what are the expectations, and where this team should be going and where it should be heading and where I think it's heading for this season and season beyond. Yeah. 2019, this roster looks stacked. I mean, we got a lot of good people through free agency, the draft, and we lost a few people. But overall, I think this team is definitely better than what it was in 2018. Now, a position I will say that is that didn't get better was the backup quarterback situation, but I'll be talking about that in a minute because that is actually a big part of this. So let's talk about our backup quarterbacks, actually. So, of course, we got Carson Wentz, obviously, and then we got Cody Kessler, who we just got, Nate Sudfeld, and we got Clayton Thorson, who I think all of them they have the chance to be above average backups. I think Clayton Thorson has the best chance to be the best backup out of the group because in his junior year he actually looked really good, and then he got his injury, and then his senior year he didn't look as good. So I think he has the best chance of being the best backup. Now, for the running back position, I would call this position really, I'm going to say untested, really. Now, I know like more than half these guys played last year, but we got Josh Adams, who I really like. We have Corey Clement, who I also like. We got Jordan Howard from the Bears. We got Donnell Pumphrey, who in college he set like a bunch of records, and he had like the most like yards per whatever in the FCS history, I think. So he's someone who hasn't really gotten a chance yet. And again, he was on the practice squad last year, but he should be given more of a chance to shine. We got obviously Miles Sanders in this year's draft from Penn State. We got Boston Scott from the Saints practice squad last year, and we have Wendell Smallwood. Overall, all of these guys that I just named, they are all good. They all have shown that they are good, and overall, this is a good group. And like having Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, I think it can be this year's or like the equivalent to 2017's LeGarrette Blount and Jay Ajayi. And plus, we got great compliments with Boston Scott, Wendell Smallwood, and Corey Clement and Josh Adams. Now, I don't know how many of these guys we're going to keep. If I had to guess which two would probably get edged out, maybe is Donnell Pumphrey and maybe Boston Scott. And everyone else I think is safe for this year because Smallwood's going to be a free agent next year. Corey Clement's going to be a free agent next year. And Josh Adams is, but I think we can get him probably on like a second round tender or something like that. We can get him back because he'll be an unrestricted free agent next year. Wide receiver, we definitely upgraded, I would say, and we got some good compliments. We got Nelson Aguilar, who ever since he moved to the slot has been pretty good. We have Arcega-Whiteside, who we got in this year's draft, who again I think is like he's a young version. I say is like a young version of Alshon Jeffrey, but it's a little bit different. He's going to be a great red zone threat. We got DeSean Jackson, which I love. I was begging for this, and we finally got him back on a 3-year deal, and I want him to retire as an Eagle. I love DeSean Jackson. We also got Alshon Jeffrey, who I hope Carson Wentz utilizes because with Nick Foles, Alshon Jeffrey was a wide receiver 1, and he was looking like one of the better ones in the league. Hopefully he's able to utilize him well. And then as those are guys who I all think can start. And then we got a few backups who I think have a chance to be good. We have Shelton Gibson and Matt Collins, who they mostly are probably going to be on special teams. And then we got 2 guys from the AAF, Greg Ward Jr., who's mostly been a punt returner, so he could have some moments in the preseason. And then we have Charles Johnson, who was leading in the AAF in receiving yards, I think, and receiving touchdowns. So that's a good get, and I mean he could end up being a good like backup wide receiver. Tight ends, I mean we have probably the best tight ends around. I mean, we got Zach Ertz, who's one of the better ones in the league. We got Dallas Goedert, who is also really good. And then we also got Rodgers and Joshua Perkins, who I actually really like. Good. Those are both good backup tight ends. But, man, Ertz and Goddard together, they are deadly. I mean, like, the offensive weapons we have this year are absolutely crazy. I mean, they're absolutely crazy. It's insane. I mean, honestly. They had to be utilized well. Some other positions, linebacker is lacking. We only have the only 2 notable guys I'm gonna name are Camus Grugier Hill and Zach Brown. That's about it. Our linebacker position is pretty dire. Our defensive line is really good. We got Derek Barnett, Fletcher Cox, Vinny Curry coming back, Brandon Graham, Malik Jackson, Timmy Jernigan, and then I hope to see more of Josh Sweat this year. I mean, like, our depth is not as good this year, but we still have some good guys. We got first rounders in there. We got one of the best defensive lines in the sport, I think. With defensive backs, we got a group that, again, I feel like is untested, sort of, and because it was injured last year, and there's a lot of concerns with it because it's like, well, are these guys really good? We got Ronald Darby, who is probably I think he's one of the better ones on this team. He's one of the better cornerbacks, but he was injured last year, so he's signed back now on a 1-year sort of prove it deal. If he proves it this year, I think we should probably resign him, because before that he was pretty good. Although he is kind of like, I saw him get like pushed down by like a Vikings wide receiver in an NFC Championship game. It's kind of crazy. Rasul Douglas, who shines sometimes, but I'm not a huge fan of. We have Malcolm Jenkins. Please pay this guy. He is an important piece to our defense. I love him. We got Andrew Sendejo from the Vikings. Haven't seen much of him, so we'll see what he can do. Sidney Jones, who I think has a high ceiling. Hopefully he doesn't get injured in the preseason again, and we get to see what he can do. Crevon LeBlanc, who improved last year. When he first got there, he wasn't that good, but then he got gradually better, and he became a pretty good one. So Avonte Maddox, who I love having a young cornerback, and he is awesome. I cannot wait to see him next year. Then we also got Rodney McLeod as a free safety. He's all right. And then Jalen Mills, who I think should move to safety. I don't think he's a cornerback anymore. I think he gets blown out too much. Move this guy, and I think he'll do a lot better. Our offensive line is okay, I think. We got Andre Dillard, who is going to be the heir apparent to to Jason Peters. So I think it's good. We're getting Jason Peters back, so hopefully he can play a full season, because that'd be kind of nice. Lane Johnson, Jason Kels, Jordan Mailata, who I think should get some playing time this year. I think he'll be better. Isaac Somelo, Halapuli Vali Vaitai, I'm glad I got through that name, and Stephen Wisniewski. Again, I think it's an okay offensive line. I think it is actually really good. I'm not really good with knowing if offensive lines are good or not. I guess it depends on how much the quarterback gets hit, but like obviously, I mean, I think they have the potential to be one of the best, I think. But yeah, the draft this year. I really like the draft we did this year. I mean, getting Andre Dillard is good. It's a good get. Have him sit a year behind Jason Peters and then slowly rotate him in maybe towards the end of the year or something like that. I don't know, but like I think he has potential to be really good. Miles Sanders, loved it. I love getting a Penn State guy to Philly. It's really good. I love it. Arcega Whiteside, another guy who I really like. And yeah, Sharif Miller, who I think is mostly there for depth. I don't know if he's going to make a lot of headway, but hey, he could end up being great. We have no idea. And then we got Clayton Thorson, who because I think we got him because Nate Sudfeld's going to be gone next year, and it's like, well, we'll have this guy for at least the next 4 years. So and I think he has the potential to be a good backup quarterback. He had the skills in his junior year to be a starter. He got injured, so again, like next year, I would not be surprised if he's the number 2 backup. Let's talk. Okay, this is 2019, so let's talk about the stuff that we're best at. What does this team have that is probably the best in at least the division, maybe in all of the NFC, maybe in all of the league? I don't know. I think in the NFC we got the best head coach. I think Doug Peterson. I really love Doug Peterson. I mean, he is aggressive. He's an offensive-minded coach, and I love offensive-minded coaches. He is just good. I mean, he is 2-0 against Sean McVay, so I think that's pretty cool. By the way, I mean I don't really think about that a lot, but yeah, He's 2-0 against Sean McVay, which is kind of crazy. And he is 1-0 against Bill Belichick, so there you go. Well, I'm not counting the preseason, by the way. Last preseason game was not good, but we get to play him again next year, or this year, so it's going to be really interesting to see. Our quarterback, backup quarterback. Or not backup quarterback, nope, sorry, I wrote something else down here. Our wide receiver core plus our depth. I think we got the best wide receiver core, I think. Honestly, I mean, we got guys that can rotate in and out without skip in a heartbeat. I mean, we got Nelson Aguilar and Deshaun Jackson, right? Deshaun Jackson can open the lid while Aguilar's more of the slot. Then we got Alshon Jeffrey and Arcega-Whiteside. We got Zach Ertz and we got Dallas Goedert. And then, I like having, two of almost every type of player that we have because it's easy to rotate and we can do more schemes and everything. It's really good. I mean, and our depth at most of the offensive positions is really good as well. So, if we have an injury, if Nelson Aguilar gets hurt or if Alshon Jeffrey gets hurt, I was like a Whiteside can take over, and I like Shelton Gibson and Matt Collins too. I think they could do also pretty well as well. I already talked about our. I think we have the best tight ends in the NFC East, and I think our defensive line is the best in the NFC East and one of the top 5 I think in the league, at the very least in the NFC or the NFC in general. I mean, we got first rounders in there. We got Vinny Curry who came back who took less money to come back to Philly than more money with Seattle, I think it was. So yeah. But let's talk about what we're not so good at. This is stuff that we're worst or that we need to improve upon or it's unproven or we're okay at. Our offensive or our coordinators, offense and defense. Mike Groh and Jim Schwartz, they have their moments, obviously. But I don't know. I just don't trust him. I mean, look, I'm glad we got Doug Pearson, who's offensive-minded, who can help Mike Groh. But, man, when we had Frank Reich, I mean, Carson Wentz was amazing. Nick Foles was amazing. I think Frank Reich really, a lot of people don't, really mention him whenever talking about, how Nick Foles did so well. It's not only Doug Pearson. No, it was Frank Reich, and he was really good. And you see what he did with the Colts in his first year. He got him all the way to the divisional championship in his first year. So it's kind of crazy, And now we got Mike Groh, who I don't think is an upgrade. And I think the thing with Mike Groh is that something that you notice, and I hope Doug Pearson sees this year, is that with Carson Wentz, they expect him to do all this crazy stuff. But with Nick Foles, they simplified the plan, and that's why he did really good with what he had. With Carson Wentz, just simplify it. Just simplify it with Carson Wentz. I know he's amazing. I know he's one of the best athletes out there, but simplify it with him, see how it does, and he's probably going to thrive super well under that. I mean, try to do that. I think Mike Groh sometimes, and I'm not going to put it all on Mike Groh, ask Carson Wentz to do a lot because of his skill set, but ask him to do less or try to simplify it and he might do better. Jim Schwartz sometimes is a meathead on defense. Sometimes he'll just be super aggressive, and that's not the best thing, but again, by the end of the year, he got a little better. And he's got a lot of defensive backs to work with. Linebacker is going to be an issue. Like I said, it's not great. I mean, the only 2 guys I can name are Zach Brown and Grugier Hill, who I don't think are great. We lost Jordan Hicks, which is a real hit. Our offensive line is okay, like I said. The running back position is untested. That's what I'm just going to say. I mean, we saw Josh Adams last year. I thought Josh Adams could be a LeGarrette Blount type. And he had some sparks, but I really like Josh Adams. I think he can improve this year. Corey Clement is more of a running back who can catch, which is not bad. I mean, he's still really good. He had that amazing catch in the Super Bowl. So, again, Corey Clement, he has his moments. Jordan Howard, we have no idea about him, but he has got power. He's definitely going to be our 3rd down running back. If we need a yard or 2, I would not mind trusting him to get it. I mean, I think he can get it seriously 9.5 times out of 10. Donnell Pumphrey, again, we've kept him around for a while. I think we had him originally, and then he left to the Lions and he came back. But there's something about him that we're trying to unearth. I think about him, and maybe this is the year that we get him, but we don't know. I mean, he might end up getting cut. Boston Scott. He was a punt returner, I think, last year. He did all right. I mean, again, we get to see what he can do this year. Maybe he can end up being a really good punt returner. I don't know. Then we have Wendell Smallwood, who I really like a lot. His nickname, Big Dick Smallwood. That's amazing. I like Wendell Smallwood a lot. I would like to retain him, but we're probably not going to be able to. He might end up being too much money next year, but if he goes anywhere, I'm obviously going to be following him. And then we got Miles Sanders, who I'm really excited for. I mean, I think a lot of people don't think of him that much because, he was only a backup to Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley is amazing, and next to him, Miles Sanders, yeah, he was the backup to Saquon Barkley. He didn't get much time to shine, but at Penn State, he was really good. When I saw some of his runs, and it was awesome. I was like, man, I love this guy. I love Penn State, and I love Miles Sanders going to Philly. It's really awesome. I think Miles Sanders can end up being really good. yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about him later. Our secondary again is not the best. Also, like it's unproven again. Like I don't know. Like we don't know what Ronald Darby's gonna be like coming off his ACL tear or whatever he had. Rasul Douglas again. Like he's not that great. Malcolm Jenkins hopefully gets paid. Sendejo I don't know much about. Jones he might get injured in the preseason. LeBlanc he might regress. I think Max is the only guy who will improve. Rodney McLeod, again, he's coming off an injury. We don't know. And Jalen Mills, I mean, last year Jalen Mills was at some times really, really hard to try to like because he was so, like that one time where he ended up like beating somebody, like he ended up blocking a pass or something, then he was like getting all like huffy and puffy, and then Fletcher Cox came over and was like, hey, settle down or something like that, or he got pissed off. Like there was something happening there, and I was just like, Jalen Mills, you gotta settle down. You get beat so many times, like they'll like wide receivers will run past him. That's why I think he should be a safety. But yeah, again, the secondary, it's unproven. So let's hopefully we can get some better. I'm surprised we didn't get a cornerback this year. I thought we were going to get or a linebacker. So it's kind of crazy. Special teams. Look, there's nothing wrong with the long snapper. I think Cameron Johnston's good. I think he's a really good punter. It's just Jake Elliott. Like sometimes Jake Elliott will miss. I feel like he should get. Now look, just because he hit a 60-yarder doesn't mean that he can make everything within 60 yards. I understand that, but sometimes I feel like he misses kicks that are like right there. Now I'm not a special team guy. I don't know everything. Maybe there's a botch snap. Maybe the guy doesn't snap the ball correctly. I don't know. But Jake Elliott is not the best kicker. I don't think he's the best kicker. Well, I can't say he's not the worst kicker in our division because I think the Cowboys guy is kind of in, and I don't really know much about the Redskins guy. I think he's fine, I guess. I don't know. I don't know their names, but Jake Elliott, we re-signed him, so I mean, I don't think Jake Elliott's ever going to be the guy who's going to get like a 6-year contract extension, unless 1 year or this year he ends up kicking like all of his field goals, all of his extra pointers, and then we're like, okay, we're going to sign you to a 3-year deal. I just don't think he's like on par with like Justin Tucker or Chris Boswell 2 years ago or anything like that. Like I think he's just fine. You know, I think we might get another kicker next offseason, maybe. I don't know. Our schedule. Our schedule's kind of tough. I'm going to flip to that. So we start off with the Redskins at home. Then we got at the Falcons. Then we have the Lions. You know what? Hold on a second. I am actually going to save that. I'm going to talk about what we need to overcome real quick. Now, of course, I'm not going to say the bullshit like we need to overcome ourselves first. Even though I think that is true. And I'm going to talk about that actually last. Let's talk about the division we're in, the NFC East. Now, for the past 2 years, the NFC East has been mostly like Eagles and Cowboys. But here's the thing. The Cowboys are our biggest threat, obviously. I mean, they're a really good team. You got Dak Prescott, Ezekiel Elliott. You got some great wide receivers. You got Jason Witten coming back. I mean, that entire team is like the games between the Eagles and Cowboys are going to be fierce this year. The only thing where I think that they might be like a little lacking in, and I don't know this, is maybe offensive coordinator. This is Kellen Moore's first year. I don't think he should have been offensive coordinator right away, so he might mess up, he might get overwhelmed, I don't know. But that's the only thing I think of. I think the rest of this team is great. Their defense is incredible. Their offense is great. The Cowboys they're going to be super tough this year. I mean, honestly, it is going to come down probably down to the last week between the Eagles and Cowboys winning the division. It probably is. The Redskins. I'm not going to sleep on the Redskins. I'm still scared of the Redskins. I mean, look, you can make fun of their owner all you want, but they got Dwayne Haskins this year. They also have Case Keenum just in case, who, again, like I think Case Keenum is a good quarterback. So I'm not going to be like, oh, it's just Case Keenum. We don't know what Case Keenum's going to be like. We could end up getting Broncos Case Keenum, or we could end up getting Vikings Case Keenum. We have no idea. And the running back position is stacked with players. Darius Geis coming back. They got Thompson and they got Adrian Peterson. Those guys are better than ours, or at least they're more tested than our guys are. So, and the Giants, again, like a lot of people are saying, like these guys fucked up this year. These guys are gonna be the worst. You have no idea. They could surprise. You don't know. What if Eli Manning ends up having a great year? What if Daniel Jones ends up coming in and he's end up beating us in a week where we need to win in order to get into the playoffs or get a bye or something like that? I mean, they got Golden Tate. I know they traded away Odell Beckham, but we have no idea about these teams. We know nothing about them yet until the preseason. And even in the preseason, we still don't know what they really are. So we have no idea. We can't write off the Giants or the Redskins. We can't just be like, oh, no, that's 4 automatic wins for the Eagles. No. We have got to be careful because we have no idea what can happen. Here's another thing, is that all the other teams in our division have better running backs, or at least have better running backs that have been proven. Again, like, I don't know if our guys are proven, like Miles Sanders and Jordan Howard. Excuse me, but we don't know if these guys we definitely know that the guys that our rivals in the NFC East are better. We got Ezekiel Elliott, Adrian Peterson, along with Jarius Geisen-Thompson. And the Giants have Saquon Barkley. I mean, that right there is scary. That is like 3 cores of running backs that are really good. And who do we have? We have Jordan Howard and Miles Sanders, who's a rookie. Now, we don't know what Miles Sanders is going to be like. Miles Sanders can end up being the next LaShawn McCoy for us. I don't know. But, like, again, like, it all depends on whether our running backs can be good this year, because we don't know what they're going to be like this year. I don't know what they're going to be like, so we'll see what they can do. Our schedule. Now, I'm going to talk about schedule for a little bit. We start with the Redskins, then we're at the Falcons. There's only once in our, like, once in our schedule where we have 2 home games in a row. Only once. Well, I guess you can say 3 if you count the bye in between, I guess. We start off with the Redskins at home, then we go to the Falcons. Then we have the Lions at home, then we go to the Packers. Then we have the Jets at home, then we go to the Vikings, to the Cowboys, to the Bills. Then we have the Bears at home, and then we have the bye. And then we have the Pats coming right off the bye, which I don't like. We got the Seahawks at home as well, so that's where, like, we get our 3 home games in a row. And then we have at Dolphins, Giants at home, at Redskins, Cowboys at home, at Giants. It's a lot of moving around. I'm serious. No, look, I don't know what the life of an NFL player is, but if I'm moving around that much in a year, that is... I'm sorry, but that's just a lot of moving, and it might discombobulate the team. That's why I'm scared about the division. I mean, we got the Patriots right off the bye. I usually think the Patriots right off the bye are great, because they're going to be studying double as hard against the team that are coming up in the next week. The Eagles, we're okay, I think, after the bye usually. But, yeah, I mean, most teams after the bye, they usually end up being worse, I think. So, that Eagles-Pats game, something I'm definitely going to watch, but I'm really scared about that. Plus, we get the Seahawks right after that, and we have the Bears before the bye. I mean, the schedule's not easy. I mean, honestly, like, we may end up only going, like, maybe 9-7, 10-6 this year, when I think we have the talent to be 13-3 again. But here's the thing, and this is where I'm going to end the video off because it's already at 22 minutes. What is one person I have not mentioned enough in this video? Just think about it for a few seconds. Say it. It's Carson Wentz. I mean, look, I love Carson Wentz. I'm glad that we picked Carson Wentz over Nick Foles. Even though it would have been interesting what Nick Foles would do with all this stuff next year. But look, Carson Wentz is obviously more talented than Nick Foles. And all through this year, it's going to be like, well, look, this will be a bad year. This is a year-defining thing for a lot of people on this team, for the Eagles organization, for Carson Wentz, for everybody. Because if we don't make the playoffs, and Jacksonville does, like with Nick Foles, and they'd be like, well, we should pick Nick Foles. And then there's going to be speculation, like, oh, should we sign Carson Wentz to the 5th-year option or not? I don't know. Like, it'll start that again. And, like, Carson Wentz still hasn't really gotten over that, like, with the Nick Foles-Carson Wentz thing. This entire season is based on Carson Wentz staying healthy. If he can stay healthy the entire season, and if he can get back to his 2017 form, which I'm not expecting him to do, honestly, I'm a little scared he won't be, because he's still coming off like the back injury, and he's 2 years or a year or 2 removed from the ACL tear, which is good, but like we don't know. But there's so much talent on this team that it is crazy. Now, here's the thing: we don't have Nick Foles in an insurance policy. Who do we have behind? Sorry, my throat is really dry. Who do we have behind Carson Wentz? We have Nate Sudfeld, who I do like, but can he try to do his best Nick Foles impression? I don't know. Then we have Clayton Thorson and Cody Kessler. Like, it doesn't inspire a lot of hope. Carson Wentz needs to stay healthy. He needs to. It needs to be his job. Same thing with the offensive line. Protect this guy, because I want him to be our quarterback for the next 15 years. I want this guy's jersey to be retired. I want him to be in the Hall of Fame as the best Eagles quarterback, dethroning Donovan McNabb. It's just a year defining. It's just, this year is defining for so many people. If Carson Wentz, here's the thing, even if we make the playoffs, but if we're a wild card, I don't know. Like, I don't even consider that even a win, because I feel like with this talent and with Carson Wentz coming back, we should be at the very least a 3rd seed or a 4th seed. We should at least get home field advantage during the wild card round. I think the highest we can go is obviously number 1 seed, but we have some good teams in the NFC. Obviously, I know we got the Seahawks, Rams. All the NFC North is really good. The NFC South with the Falcons and stuff like that. But man, if we don't have home field advantage, it's gonna scare me because Nick Foles with the Jaguars, I think they're gonna do good. I hope they do good. I'm gonna be rooting for them as well, obviously, because I love Nick Foles. He won us our first Super Bowl. But Carson Wentz, man, I'm really scared. Like, someone was mentioning this. I think it was Mike Florio on PFT, who said, if I'm an Eagles fan, if you're an Eagles fan, you are scared every morning or every Monday to wake up and find out that your quarterback is injured. Because with Carson Wentz, the last few years, he's been injured. And it's scary. He's been injured in the same week last year, the last 2 years. And it's scary. And we got tough games, too, against great defenses, and that's what scares me. Because, Carson Wentz, if he gets injured, I mean, our season's done. I don't think Nate Sudfeld's going to take us to Super Bowl. I mean, if that happens, holy shit. I mean, I'm going to get a Nate Sudfeld jersey. But this is a year where, look, I think the Eagles should get his 5th-year option. But honestly, and hopefully I can go back in time and watch this video and tell myself that I'm an asshole for doubting Carson Wentz. But I wouldn't give him a contract extension until he proves that he can stay healthy for a full season and he can win. I don't care how much talent you have. I'm sorry, I just don't. You can have a lot of talent, but if you end up getting injured all the time, I can't deal with you. Unless, I feel bad for saying that. I love Carson Wentz. I love him so much. He's my quarterback. But if he doesn't stay healthy, the season's over. And I think his career is going to go spidering out of amok. The Jaguars make the playoffs and the Eagles don't. And it also depends whether if both of them make it, who gets farther. Because, can you imagine if we have a Super Bowl, Nick Foles versus Carson Wentz? That would be the most insane thing ever. I wouldn't even know who to root for in that Super Bowl. I guess the Eagles, obviously. But it all depends on Carson Wentz. That's what I have written down right here. Under 2019 Philadelphia Eagles, the one thing I have when I started writing this video, I was like, it all depends on Carson Wentz. But what do you guys think about the 2019 Eagles? Do you think they have a shot to win the Super Bowl? Do you think they have a shot to make playoffs? Do you think Carson Wentz can stay healthy for 16 games? I hope the fuck he does, because if he doesn't, I won't have a lot of questions. Also, I would love to do a what if of 10 years from now. What if Nick Foles decided to stay with the Eagles or something like that? I don't know. It's crazy. Might do that sometime. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to leave a like and comment down below what you think about the Eagles and all that stuff like that. And I know this video is long, but if you're a true Eagles fan, you have kept watching this long. And also, I know this is kind of lazy, just having a picture in the background and me talking into a microphone. It's late, and I just wanted to get this video out because I wanted to work on this because I'm only planning on doing one other commentary this year, and that one's going to take a lot of editing to do. So, yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Trent from The Real Guy, and I'll see you guys next time.